This is the installation and review of the Kohler K-3493 Highline Classic Pressure Lite with Sloan Flushmate, the Bemis 1526NI Molded Wood Seat, metal hinges and STA-TITE, SaniSeal Toilet Gasket, and the SetFast 42443 Self Adjusting No-Cut Toilet Bolts. The Kohler toilet was ordered online and delivered in 2 separate packages. Styrofoam was used for shipping. The first box contained the water tank, tank lid, Sloan Flushmate, Sloan Flushmate Owner's Manual, Kohler Installation Guide, and all the toilet fixture hardware. Here's the Sloan Flushmate. Blemishes are located at the bottom of the water tank. They are created during the Kohler porcelain manufacturing process. You won't notice them after the toilet is installed. At the underside of the lid, you can see and feel the porcelain without the glazing. The water tank is made in the United States. This is the toilet bowl package. Here's the toilet bowl. Here are images of the toilet bowl. The label indicates the toilet bowl can operate from 1 to 1.6 gallons per flush range. This particular Kohler toilet operates at 1.6 gallons per flush as specified by the Flushmate label, and is also identified on the Kohler water tank label. This is where the toilet mates with the sewage pipe flange. The toilet bowl is made in the United States. Here are the T-bolt caps and water mounting hardware. This is all the parts and documentation. The installation manual is also available at the Kohler website, provided in the description below. The Flushmate Owner's Manual provides a warranty card in the back, where you can go to the Flushmate website, see the description below. Flushmate provides a 10-year manufacturing warranty. The Kohler complete part number includes an RA, which indicates it's a right-hand trip lever. The 0 indicates that its color is white. The Highline Classic is a Kohler product family. Comfort height indicates the toilet seat is raised to make the sitting and standing easier. Pressure Lite is a Kohler flush technology driven by the Sloan Flushmate. It has an elongated toilet bowl shape. It's operating at 1.6 gallons per flush, and it does not come with the toilet seat. Looking at the Kohler features, a vitreous china. The definition of vitreous: the word vitreous means glass-like. Vitreous china is simply porcelain ceramic with coating of vitreous enamel. The coating of vitreous enamel is left dried on the porcelain, then the porcelain is refired in a kiln to seal the vitreous enamel coating. The vitreous enamel makes the porcelain tougher, shinier, and resist soil and odor. This Kohler toilet has an elongated bowl. For comparisons, here are 2 other styles of bowls compared to an elongated bowl. So here it identifies it's less the seat, which is your toilet seat, and a supply. They're referring to the supply tube. The 12-inch rough-in refers to the distance between the flange bolt holes and the finish wall, as shown here. These dimensions are provided at the Kohler website link in the descriptions below. The 2 1/4 inch glazed trapway refers to the glazing within this trapway. And the inside diameter of this hole is 2 1/4 inch. The 12 inch by 10 inch waterway refers to 12 inches by 10 inches within the bowl. And finally, the overall dimensions are at the bottom, which are these dimensions right here. This is the Bemis wood seat with metal hinges using the STA-TITE technology. The installation instructions recommends a 1/2 inch wrench to secure the STA-TITE nylon bolts. The Bemis seats are engineered to fasten securely onto the toilet to eliminate any seat movement.
While holding your seat in position, use your wrench to continue tightening the bottom of the nut. When the optimal tightness is reached, the lower portion of the nut snaps free from the top. Now you see how STA-TITE takes the guesswork out of tightening.
Please see the Bemis installation video link in the description below. Here are general comparisons between rubber, foam rubber, and wax gasket material. That way we can cover all combinations of materials used to create toilet ring gaskets. We'll start with rubber and foam rubber. The pro is they both provide the gasket both flexibility and reusability. The con is they are more expensive than wax and can lose its ability to remain flexible as it ages, which may lead to a poor seal. Wax, on the other hand, toilets and flanges were designed to use wax gaskets. Wax is both moldable and sticky, and it will last the lifetime of the toilet. The con is, once compressed, wax does not spring back if the toilet separates from the flange. I've chosen to use SaniSeal foam rubber ring instead of the traditional wax ring, since I needed to be able to remove the toilet from the flange multiple times during installation. I also decided to use the SetFast Self Adjusting No-Cut Toilet Bolts. The bolts and nuts are made out of brass, and the washers are made out of stainless steel, which will prevent corrosion.
Now for the main event, let's imagine, for demonstration purposes, that we just set the bowl and both the washer and bolt cap retainer are in place. Now as we install the nut, watch closely. Keep an eye on the stud and the white dot. Once the nut hits the dot, the stud now begins to turn. Thus the nut now becomes the tool. With every turn, the stud gets shorter and shorter. As you can see, the bolt has self-adjusted and has now disappeared down into the flange.
The installation video link is provided in the description below. The original toilet intermittently had difficulties flushing the toilet bowl, especially when using extra soft toilet paper. I wasn't able to capture this issue for this YouTube video, but here's how it performed just before I removed it. my situation, once the toilet solid waste reaches the soil stack, then there are other sources of wastewater, such as showers, sinks, wash machine, that will help carry the solid waste down into the sewer system, if it hadn't made it already. I needed to check for sewer line obstructions prior to installing the new Kohler toilet. I also wanted to measure how long the sewer line was before it connected to the soil stack. To do this, I attached a low-resolution video camera to a tape measure. The tape measure also provides the means to push the camera down the sewer pipe. This is the video of inside the sewer pipe. I will start the video when the camera is at the soil stack and is slowly moving back out of the pipe. The sewer pipe is approximately 6 feet long. This means that the toilet not only needs to flush the waste out of the bowl, it must also move the waste through the 6 feet of sewer pipe before it can connect to the soil stack. Where the original toilet used 3 gallons per flush, the new Kohler toilet only uses 1.6 gallons per flush. So the Kohler is doing the same job with almost half the water, moving the same amount of solid waste down the same length of sewer pipe. I purchased a water pressure gauge at the hardware store along with plumbing fittings to connect the female garden hose fitting to the 3/8 compression ring fitting on the toilet water valve. My water pressure is at 40 psi. In comparison, a car tire's air pressure is around 32 psi. The Sloan Flushmate requires water pressure between 20 to 80 psi to operate properly. The minimum water pressure is specified on the Flushmate label. Both maximum and minimum water pressure are specified at the bottom of the Kohler 3493 specification sheet. Assembling the toilet only required securing the water tank onto the toilet bowl while keeping the water tank level. Before installing the toilet, I wanted to test it out by hooking up the water and then setting the toilet into the shower stall. I wanted to see how well it did flushing golf balls, since this is the competing brand's advertising standard for today. The big difference is this Kohler toilet uses pressurized water, while the competing brand, American Standard Champion 4 Series, uses gravity-fed water to flush their toilet bowl. So this isn't an apples-to-apples comparison. It's just for fun. We first tried 18 golf balls, just like in American Standard's ad. Okay, well, let's see what it does with 24 golf balls. The original toilet's water tank was pressed against the finished wall for over 20 years. Only the T-bolts secured the toilet to the sewer pipe flange and floor. Allowing the toilet to drain out in the shower made it an easier job. I removed the old wax ring, which had a black rubber horn. I used a water bleach mixture to clean the flange and surrounding floor. Installed the SetFast bolts. Installed the SaniSeal toilet gasket. Installed the Kohler toilet with water tube. The Kohler sets 1.5 inches from the finished wall, unlike the original toilet. The front of the toilet can be moved easily. This is not good. I secured the toilet to the floor using silicone caulk. I left gaps in the caulk to allow any water leakage under the toilet a way out. I removed the excess caulk using a damp rag and allowed the caulk to cure overnight. It has a very good flush, and it takes about 30 seconds to refill the Flushmate with water again. I noticed water in the water tank. This seemed odd. I thought the Sloan Flushmate was leaking. The first water leak I noticed was at top of the Flushmate flush cartridge. It was leaking through the threads. So I removed it, as directed in the How to Test and Replace Flush Cartridge of Flushmate. The video link is provided in the description below.
Actuator rod removal is a simple procedure using a screwdriver. You only need to loosen this one to remove the rod. Remove the cartridge assembly by inserting the pliers handle like you see here, or with our Flushmate 2-in-1 wrench. Remove the cartridge assembly by turning in a counterclockwise direction. Once the cartridge assembly is removed, examine the exposed O-rings on the cartridge.
I inspected the O-ring and noticed a couple of areas that seemed to be interfering with the O-ring's ability to seal. This was due to plastic seams that formed when the cartridge was manufactured. I removed the excess plastic so this O-ring had a clean, flat surface to seat to on the cartridge. The O-ring sets roughly 1 inch below the top of the threads. The cartridge must be positioned down far enough for the bottom O-ring to seat into the bottom valve to stop the water from draining into the toilet bowl, as illustrated here. It's been several weeks since I made the repair, and there are no further leaks around the cartridge. Water may sprinkle out of the air inducer after each flush. This is a normal Flushmate operation. When the Flushmate shoots the water into the toilet bowl, a duckbill valve closes to prevent this pressurized water from shooting into the water tank. So the opening and closing of the duckbill valve can cause a little amount of water to sprinkle into the water tank. In abnormal situations, when a source of water is filling the water tank, the air inducer allows the water to drain into the toilet bowl to prevent the water tank from overflowing. The Kohler installation was straightforward. I watched many YouTube videos, so I didn't rely solely on the Kohler installation guide. The Bemis bushings fit very tight within the Kohler toilet seat mounting holes. I pushed the bushings into the mounting holes by hand as instructed. It was very challenging. Normally I would have tightened the nut onto the threaded bolts to draw the bushings into the mounting holes, but that approach would most likely have prematurely snapped off the STA-TITE nut. The SetFast bolts, I definitely recommend watching the YouTube video to understand how they work. The link is provided in the description below. The Kohler Highline Classic was designed for tall adults who need an easier time for setting down and getting back up by matching the seat height of a typical chair. The original toilet seat was 15¼ inch, and the new Kohler toilet seat is 18¼ inch, which is a 3-inch difference. My chair seat is 17.5 inch and I am 6 feet tall. I find the Kohler seat height is very comfortable. We also use the Squatty Potty, which also helps the younger adults to cope with the taller toilet seat. After 2 weeks of daily use for a family of 4, the Kohler toilet bowl remains clean and the Flushmate operated flawlessly. The Bemis seat remains mounted securely on the Kohler, and the Bemis lid did not bend when you sat on it. And thank you for watching.